Hi, everybody. Really glad to be there. We are quite an atypical SaaS company because we are not really a SaaS company. We are a health insurance company trying to solve healthcare. So we are very local. We're only in France. We are not international yet. So what I'm gonna speak about is going to be a bit different. But what I feel is that product design is really, really important to every SaaS company to build a delightful and very differentiated experience. So I'm going to speak only about that. I think that product design always starts with one thing. It's the problem you're trying to solve. And I think it's the same for SaaS company. You should first focus on the problem. And for us, it was a problem that takes us to the gut, which is that healthcare, so health, managing your health, is very complex. It's very hard to take the right decision, to know who to speak with, to know how much it's going to cost. It's also a system that has been based only on solving care or not on solving the way we act on prevention. And we wanted to solve that with Alan. And I think like for every SaaS company or for every company that want to change an industry, it's really important to have a strong mission. And our mission as Alan is to help our users, to empower our users to live better and healthier. That means a lot of things, and you need to focus with something very simple to solve at the beginning, or at least small compared to the size of your huge market. And for us, living happier and healthier, it's huge. It's like when I'm sick, what decision I'm going to make, and how I can help people not being sick anymore. But we decided to start with a health insurance company, which for us was quite a small subset of our market. At the end of the day, it's quite already very big. It's a 50 billion market in France, very regulated. There were no new insurance before us since 1986. So we were the first new insurance company in France for 30 years. And it also has a lot of implications because we were in a market where product design was just not a thing. And I think it's really, when you are in the B2B business, which we are as an insurance company, it's really interesting to spend time on how you're going to differentiate. And I think that design, like user experience, is a great way to bring a lot of value. Especially in a world, wow, that's kind of weird. Okay, we have lost image, but what you're trying to see is a Minitel on an iPhone. And I would like to quote Jeff Bezos, who said this amazing thing that users' expectations always go up. They are like always discontent of what they are, and it's just human nature. And that's really great that we thought that a Minitel was good like 20 years ago, and now we have an iPhone, and users expect the best experience for everything they use. And I think it has been a big switch also in the B2B approach, where we were used to have like lower quality products in terms of design and user experience, and now people expect, even purchasers, the same level of quality than an Instagram or Facebook in the way they interact with their B2B product. I don't have slide anymore, so I'm going to play it like that. For us, it was really important to focus on the user experience, and we have different stakeholders, and I guess that's also really important when you build a product to think who you are selling to. And us as a health insurance company, we have different stakeholders. We have the end user, we have the purchaser, which is the HR or the co-founder or the CEO or the CFO of the company, and we need to address their needs. And for us, I would say it was very complex because we are in a very regulated market, but it was also maybe simpler than for a Pipedrive that is competing to like tons of CRMs that are tech companies. Our competition was like quite standard incumbents, which are very old insurance companies that never focused on the end user. So on one point, it's like very hard to compare what should be the best user experience because you don't have comparison, but as well, you just versus the old world. And what does that mean? It means taking something that people thought was natural to have a very shitty experience and making them go to what is a new world and what is the future. For example, we believe that transparency is really key to taking great decisions in healthcare, that people need to understand how they how much they're going to be reimbursed, how they can choose the best doctor. And we spend a lot of time in this kind of details to make it really easy to understand your coverage table, to make it searchable on mobile, to really think of how people are going to use your project and not just solving the problem for yourself. I need a coverage table as a health insurance company, and I will do it, and I will do that ugly shit, and just try to think what the end user needs. And it can go from very far away. Like for, I guess you have always all have been used if you live in France to send like papers to your health insurance or to your insurer. And how you solve that problem. And again, it's not only like simplicity, and I guess it's the main challenge in product design. Like to make something very simple will trigger a lot of complexity inside in terms of technology, the way you manage it. And you have to make that technology transparent to the user. And the only advice we have, and we spend a lot of resources at Alan on that, is how you build product and design. And we have a designer, like in our first 4 years, we had software engineers, insurance people, and designers, and project people. And we really believe that you need to spend a lot of time and resources on making the design as sleek and simple as possible, and use all the technology you can in order to make it transparent to the user. The other thing that I think makes an experience really magic, and that also applies to B2B SaaS, it's the little details that make people speak about you. And you can have a very good and differentiating market, but you don't want people to like you. You want users to love you. And I think it was really well said at the beginning. It's like, your users are going to be your ambassadors. And if you want them to be your ambassador, you need to focus on the small, delighting things that will make them speak about you. It doesn't have to be costly. It doesn't have to be big. It's just this kind of detail that make you feel really special as a user. I love to take the comparison with like 5-star hotel. Like when you enter a 5-star hotel, you have this kind of small word, hello, Mr. Samuelian, how are you? They know the last time you came and what you enjoyed. And they do that with every customer, but when you enter, you feel really special. And you are going to recommend this kind of experience and like how you live that. And you can do that with B2B products. It's a bit different. You have to think a bit out of the box, but this kind of details really makes a difference. I don't know if it's gonna work, but for example, we have done a very different like welcome card and like health insurance card with a welcome pack that is fun. And this video was not even made by us. It's like one of our users that did it, posted on Twitter and share it. And like it drives a lot of traffic and a lot of value to our user. And we have that all the time with this kind of small details. And I think even B2B companies should have this B2C approach in the way they build their product in order to bring this kind of growth. We spoke about it as well. I think one of the biggest investments we have made, and that has been really, really differentiating for us, is customer service and the care team. It's how you answer the problem of your user and how you solve them very quickly. We are in a very complex market, so health insurance for companies. So we have tons of customers, SMBs, and like it's a complex topic. Nobody knows what they are talking about. It's also a touchy topic. Like when your health is at stake, like it's really important to get a great answer. And we over-invested like on customer service. We answer within less than 1 minute on median time with our customer service team, and we try to find really, really good answers. So how to do that? I think it's really key to have this kind of over-investment in customer care, because you are going to learn a lot in terms of product. You're going to delight your users, but it's also going to force you to do something very important. It's trying to remove your customer service. It's how you build your product so you get less and less requests, so you keep delivering a really high quality service in terms of human touch. And having the human touch only on what really counts, like the very complex problem, is going, again, to give a lot of value, delightment, and love to your brand. To finish on how to build the product, I think you should always spend time on every stakeholder. So us, we have the end users, so you and me, like that are playing with the health insurance. But you have also for us the HR person. And really we spent ton of time on interviewing, on project marketing with like HR, CFO from day one of the company. Like the company was not even created. We already met with like more than 50 and 100 people that were managing like health insurance for their company in order to understand the problem we were solving for them and what they were valuing. And I think like really transferring from project design, and we are really good at in France to do that, like speaking about features, like we love to build features, we love to build stuff, we are an engineering country, to what is the value I generate to my end user and how I translate this value in terms of offering at the end. And project design is really about that. Is for us, what is the value for HR person? They want to save time, so we want to focus on what is really important, so we save them up to 2 days per month, like on this administrative stuff for a company of 200 persons. They want to be sure that they are doing the right thing. It's like, it's very complex, so how you make them safe in terms of their legal matters. And they want to have their employees happy and like to be considered for it. So how you build product and systems that makes it very easy for the HR person to be happy. The last point in terms of product and product design, I guess, is how you go to the next stage. And for us, we started with a health insurance company, but our mission as a company is far more than being a health insurance. It's like to solve healthcare and to make it really simple to access healthcare. And I think it's really interesting in terms of product design and how you think about it to have this stretch on what is your core offering and what are the new features you are adding progressively to your product to keep the differentiation ongoing. And I think as a product guy, it always has been the best question we had. Which feature should we develop? How we prioritize it? Is it core product or is it a new feature? What we launched recently, for example, is Alan Map. Alan Map is a tool where, I think there is a video as well, yeah. It's a tool to help you choose the doctor around you, like it's located, but you have information like price, availability, and this kind of stuff. And knowing how much you're going to get reimbursed before going to the doctor in France, it's something that just didn't exist. It's really not core insurance experience for us, like it's kind of outside of it, but we felt that it would generate a lot of value to our users. And you can use that in very different ways. So it generates value to our users, so it keeps us more and more differentiated, but we also use it as a growth tool. So we open it to everybody, and like we had tons of users, not Alan users, that came to Alan Map and then switched to Alan. And I think that also, as engineering and tech companies, it's really interesting to think about engineering for growth. What product can I build in order to drive more volume, to drive more differentiation, and then go to my core product? As a result, the result of that and focusing only on products is that you generate growth with very low-cost investment. So the company is 2.5-year-old. We have been an insurance company, so we got our license less than 2 years ago. We are now at 10 million of annual recurring revenues, 10 million euros of annual recurring revenues. We cover more than 10,000 companies, 10,000 people, more than 1,300 companies. A few of them are in the room. And these figures are really interesting because we achieved that without spending money on online marketing. We didn't spend €1 until like a few weeks ago. We just started a couple of weeks ago. We didn't have a sales team until like 2 months ago. And all our growth came through word of mouth and communication. And it happened because our product was really differentiated. It happened because our user loved our product and we gave them tools to speak about it. And I think it's the biggest challenge is to companies, SaaS companies like us that are addressing markets such as the SMB market, because we are focused on SMB, so we have hundreds of thousands of companies we can address in France. It's how you crack the distribution through product differentiation. And this investment is quite atypical or counterintuitive, I would say, for SaaS companies or for companies like us, where your VC and most investors will push you to build a sales team very quickly to like have this very tailored and specific acquisition strategy with like SDRs, account executive, customer success. And we really feel that you need to have that at some point to fuel the growth. But if you invest deeply in what your user love and you spend like tons of time on that, you will reduce all your costs, customer acquisition costs, customer service costs. And this is going to generate unit economics that are so different from all other players in your industry that you're going to be able to raise more equity at a better valuation, attract more talents, and you are, through product differentiation and magic in product, you're really going to drive a virtuous circle that is really, really different from any other company in your industry. And I think it's really worth the investment, and it's kind of a counterintuitive investment for a B2B company because product design are very complex, can have like middle-term or long-term feedback loop. It's really hard to measure what is going to be the impact on your sales of a new product feature because it can take up to 6 or 12 months to see the impact. But if you do that, you're not going to do incremental change. You are going to do transformative change in your company and the way your product is seen, and that's how you win like global industries. And I think it's what is going to differentiate the best B2B players in the future, and we try to be one of those. Thank you.